Indigenous in Canada are 5% of all the population and 36% of all Canadians in jail and 42% of all federal prisoners. This is horrific. It is horrific, but me and you see it as horrific for very different reasons. Let's go through history a little bit. We can go back as far as 1814, where they banned the sale of something called pemmican. Settlers banned in Selkirk, specifically. It is quoted that the governor, Miles MacDonald, issued a ban on the export of pemmican and any other provisions intentionally just to be a dick to take away resources from Métis people. 6 months later, he banned running or using of horses on buffalo hunts. Why? To be a dick and make it hard for Indigenous people. Once again, people were defined as people in Canada, as legal people, as anyone who wasn't Indian, which means that you were outside of the Constitution in Canada. You did not have constitutional rights. You didn't have rights, equal rights, until the 50s. You didn't get to vote until the 60s. It was made illegal if your parents didn't send you to school. They would have to serve federal prison time. It was illegal to be drunk. It was federal prison time. Only for Indigenous people. If you were leaving the reserve and you did not have a piece of paper to say that you can leave from the Indian agent who would do things like withhold food, essay, do horrible things to Indigenous people. If you did not get permission to leave the reserve, you would get arrested and you would have to serve prison time. And the thing is that this was not legal. This was not a lawful thing that they were doing. It was something that they were doing just because they could, which is why they would arrest people for vagrancy. That was created to arrest people who had left the reserve. Legally, lawfully so, allowed to do so, they would face prison time. Veterans would go and fight in wars, come back, and not be allowed to access veteran affairs. It was illegal for Indigenous people to be in establishments that had alcohol. You would face what? Prison time. And that was because they didn't want Indigenous people around white people, because they didn't want white people to know what was going on. Then it was illegal for Indigenous people to go into pool rooms with white people. They weren't allowed to be in pools with people because they did not believe that Indigenous people should have leisure. They believed that Indigenous people should be working. And if you were caught there, what should you get? Prison time. The liquor offenses weren't removed until 1985. It was illegal to seek a lawyer. If you tried to hire a lawyer as an Indigenous person, prison time. You tried to give people gifts, prison time. You danced, prison time. You gathered in a group of 3 or more Indigenous people, prison time. Someone tried to help you by giving you money, prison time. You had extra crops, you had extra cattle, and you wanted to help someone else, you wanted to give it away instead of letting it rot, prison time. Didn't let your kids get taken to assimilation schools, assimilation prisons, prison time. Not only that, by the 1960s, 30 to 40% of wards of the state, people in CPS care, were Indigenous children. And those were put into homes that did not nice things to them all of the time and caused a lot of issues internally with them, caused trauma. Oh, you got caught with regalia, jingle dresses, headdresses, all those things up until 1951. Prison time. Oh, you were disabled, a widow, your parents died, you're an orphan, you lost your land. Oh, you don't have anywhere to live? You're a vagrant. Prison time. Oh, you tried to form a political party? Prison time. Do you know why there's a larger group of people that are Indigenous that are homeless in Canada? Because the government kept taking their homes over and over again. Oh, they could move a reserve. Then they've done this multiple times. They did this to Squamish Nation in BC. If you were too close to a population of white people, 4,000, I think it's like 4,000 to 8,000, they could relocate your reserve because they didn't want you associating or being around settlers. The reason that there's more people in prison as Indigenous in the Indigenous population is because of discrimination and racism systemically. That's why there's things like Starlight Tours. Do you know what Starlight Tours is? It's when they pick up Indigenous people, generally men, pick them up, no matter what the time of year is. And this happened a lot in northern Canada, like in Ontario, Alberta, all those places. The RCMP specifically would pick individuals up, take them to the middle of nowhere, take their jacket, take their shoes, drop them off to see if they could get back to town. And unfortunately, a lot of the times it was so cold, these people passed. Now you're an Indigenous person and you're supposed to go call the police? You're supposed to trust the cops? Why? It's the same when you look at the United States statistically. Black men are incarcerated at higher rates. They serve harsher prison sentences for the same crimes. Even though when you look at the statistics of who is doing what, white men are predominantly the men that are engaging in their PDF files. 70%. The most dangerous place for a woman is to be in a relationship with the person she's sleeping in a bed with. You want to tell me that majority of women are sleeping next to an Indigenous man? I beg to differ. This is systemic oppression. This is racism. This is intentional marginalization of a specific community. So maybe the question in your mind should be, why the fuck is 42% of all federal prisoners Indigenous when they only make up 5% of the population? Why? And it's because of systemic oppression, marginalization, and people doing fucked up shit to Indigenous people and treating them harsher, giving them harsher sentences, setting them up for failure by taking them from their homes, giving them to white families, using and abusing, not giving any resources, shoving them into poverty, intentionally done so through policy. Then you want to blame them